Good morning. Well, for me, it's pretty much morning, although it's 12:15 right now, 12:11 to be more exact. Can I have my cigarette? Now, what this video is actually about, it's not really about anything at all, except for explaining exactly what I'm doing at this present moment right now. So when I tell you this, I'm only telling you what I'm first thinking because I know what I'm doing now. For the last couple of weeks, and it seems to be every single year about these times, I get stronger and stronger, especially right now. We are 1 month away, 30 days away from 7 years since this all began for me. Pretty weird. I don't want to know about numbers. I don't want to know about the chakras. I don't know about what anybody wants to tell me about my life tomorrow. I don't want to know. And I really still don't want to know. But things have changed. It's not that I don't want to know from others. I actually know myself. I don't need anybody to tell me because I can figure it out by myself. I know my today and I know my tomorrow. Now, if they're going to tell me if I'm going to be lucky or any of this bullshit, luck, my friends, is something that you fall in the middle of because of who you are, of how you arranged your life. That's how you fall into luck. Okay? You only get lucky because you made it for yourself, or just like me, I was broke one week. All of a sudden, I went to the bank, made a deposit of $150, and I look at my bank statement, and it says a lot more than that. So I waited and waited, and I took the money, and I blew it within 10 days because I didn't care about it, and I just blew it. I was lucky to get it. I was completely broke and I had no money to eat, and I blew it. You don't have to ask why. Figure it out. Any addiction will kill you. The one thing about the money addiction, that sometimes you can never run. I mean, if you have a 5,000 in the bank, I mean, you can blow that into casino in 1 hour. In 5 minutes, you can bet it all on one hand. You want to go to the races? I'm really not quite sure how it works in that, but I'm quite sure you can lose it just as fast. Not only that, but the minute you would take your money and go make an investment, okay, they wait for that check to come in. When you sell that investment, you have to wait for that check to come back. You have to deposit that into your account. And if you're lucky, you have a transit, but probably not for the whole thing. So by the time the money comes out and goes in and you sell it back, you've lost 3 weeks of that money being absolutely nowhere. What I'm working on now and why I'm actually here is to tell you that this whole thing that came about was never about me telling you about my life. It was all about, I keep seeing numbers and letters, and all of a sudden, it is now my life. It has consumed my life. I am part of it. I have as much choice as I wish to have, but if you're living logically, you're supposed to take advantage, in which in this case, it is my luck. Because instead of sitting home and possibly going online and gambling on the casinos, which I've never done since the computers came out, maybe the first 2 months, but I don't like it. I like to see, you know what, if your hands are fast enough and you can move the magic, you can trick me, right? But these computers are too damn fast and you can't see the face on the other side. So it's hard to trust anything on the computer when it's all electronics. And think of it yourself that you're electronic coming in from another planet. So therefore the game is also being played in this planet, but it's all connected to mainframe. Whatever's going to happen in the poker game here is because it happened in mainframe. Otherwise, it can never happen here because we're being streamed. Okay? The only thing we can really do in this life is push out, like go inside a balloon and push out. When the child is in your stomach and you see the elbow push out, that's the maximum that child can go. Well, we're the same thing. We think we're going out. Look how smart we got. Because the very little that man goes out is such a great percentage, because when the V splits, it just keeps going wider and wider apart. Those are the two major functions of the star key, because in all actuality, the star key is not what you think it is. Okay, it's a star because there were lines on top of each other, but the actual star key, okay, is actually putting one straight line this way, north and south, and then there's the V. So if you put a line straight down with the V, you get a K on this side and a K on this side. But if you turn it this way, it's a V like this with a line underneath it. So all you're playing with the star key is just different angles of short sticks. And it just therefore happens that each side of the star seems to branch out always at 180 degrees from the complete opposite end of the direction that it's pointing to, or coming from, traveling to. From whence it came in one direction, it traveled through and in the same angle and direction until it changes, and then it's another direction. Because somebody will say, what if the angle changes? Well, the equation changes along with the angle, because you got to stop and write down what you did. And if you keep going around, you have to write down what you did with all these mathematical terminologies that you use. I'm not sure where I just was, but just is just about it, is it not? It's all about reason. Like I said, I'm out here right now just telling you the way I'm thinking. I can never express myself in my life. And when I was expressing myself, no one would ever really try to engulf the actual definitions within the words I choose to move into the future as to equality-wise. But we're always going to have a little down and a little up. It has to be. Otherwise, we'd all be zombies. Oh, no. And it can't be perfect. Because today, you don't want anybody smoking weed. Tomorrow, you'll say, smoke weed. So some of us change. So therefore, since some of us change, therefore the line can never be straight. And everybody knows a straight line, it means you're death. So anyways, we take the star key and we put it this way and this way and this way and this way. We have 4 lines creating 8 directions. Now what happens with these short sticks and the star key is they create the actual shape of what's going on in this world. And what's really going on in this world, right, is, you know, when I say the 90 degree like this, okay, and the short sticks, if you go a complete short stick 180 degree from north to south, it's 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. But our life doesn't work that way. Do you know why? Because on the tic-tac-toe, when you see the angle, what's happening on this angle is once you do this, okay, you can like turn it, okay, because they're on like a spring hook, and it comes back and it moves and it turns back, and then as it turns, it comes in and it goes back. You see, if it's straight, it's automatically moving with you like a screw. But if it's on this angle, right, one is turning this way while one is turning this way. AT, angel transmission, the angle of the connection, just like in back wheel or front wheel drive, the way it splits out, same thing. Okay, so it's the L angle, which is the 12th letter, means alpha beta included because 1 is inside 2. Okay, playing from the 2 position. But one is inside 2, in the 2 position, that would actually be that it's equal to 3. So what happens now is man is working with 2 and 6. And if I turn it around this way and I keep the 6 here, he's working with 2 and 6, or 6, 22, 6, because you're working with both sides of 6, because one side is 4, but once it's connecting to it, it's actually coming from 4 and going to 6. But if you're not asking that question, it keeps on turning around. This is the 6 of life. So you get 2 is beta. And then when you say beta, beta, it means you got 2 lives. That means you got 1 whole life. Then you got the angel and man, which is I and I, inside the beta world. Otherwise it would be B, B, and B inside that world, which is 222, room 222. Still the same passage. But the multiplication of the 7 passage by 3 equals 21, creating 1 more spirit and 1 more passage. Got out of bed this morning. Why was I telling you about this in my life? Because this video is really like some of the last few, a little all over the place. Well, it's usually like that in every other of the 902 videos I've done here, about 50 that I've never uploaded, and another 150 on Facebook, along with 100 notes in my mailing box, and another 150 notes or little stories or little rhymes or little things that I made up on Facebook. And I'm enjoying this. I really am. I feel that somehow I am gaining a knowledge. And one of the greatest knowledges up to now, I'm not sure if it's a knowledge at all, but my memory for certain things, it's just like practicing my memory to, I have to remember everything. Like I even saw something new online. I was looking at the colors of the racehorses, and I noticed they have races going on right now from England or wherever it was. It really didn't matter to me as long as I knew the basic area. And all the horses had red. Every single horse was red, and the number was white. Red and white makes pink. The pink pig. I'm not going to explain to you what it is, but a lot of people already know what colors mean. So for those who do colors or numerology or whatever, you should take that into consideration, because other parts of that I did a couple of months ago in Europe horse racing, for some reason I can never actually see the tag, the cloth, the color of it. So I partook it all to be gray. Gray means they're on this side, they're on that side. So either they're stiffing you, right, and they're taking both sides saying they're really good, or they're really bad and going on the good side to take from you. And that was in Australia, I think, that horse racing. And because here in North America, usually it's pretty colorful. In fact, everything is colorful out here, even the color of the leaves when they fall. But you know what? I may be just a fool, because somewhere else in the world, the leaves must be falling on the ground. Are they turning pretty colors like they do here in Quebec? I don't know, but I do know. And part of something that I do know, I don't remember. So I don't remember to do know, so that I do know to be able to tell you what I know at all. For it to have any reason, validity and reason for me to explain it, because I don't remember exactly myself. So I like to tell you that I'm right now not fully informed about the matter, and I rather not tell you something than to tell you a story you believe it's real and it was only my hypothesis within my mind. I like to keep you up to date when it's my hypothesis, because basically this whole thing I've been doing for the last year and a half is basically all hypothesis based on my own judgment and vision. Although there have been many coincidences in which most numbers were not just right and correct, but they were exactly perfectly right, number for number, coming from shape to shape, from which one world comes through center of passage into the next world. Whether we just talk about the connecting man and angel, 4 and 6 or 6 and 4, or how it's so coincidental that the Zion, everybody see the Zion are bad, and the letter count for the Zion is also 64, the same as Israel. Not only that, Area 51 and the word Israel, in which the Zionists and Kabbalah are supposed to be involved, and apparently they're involved probably in the underground also of the aliens. I'm just adding that in my thought. And Israel, the first two letters is IS, so it's an it, is. It is. So Israel is part of the is family, because it's also from the it family. We're always confused in asking ourselves of the word it. What is it? It is what it is. Israel, S, if it's also written squarely, that S can be partaken for a 5. So the I could be partaken for a 1. So you're not actually 51. Area 51. Not only that, you see the great thing about the I, it's the 9th letter, and 1 and 9 make 10. So you can exchange it. And the reason you can exchange it is because if the 1 is over there and the 9 is over here, it's only because you're there to mention the 9. Walk over to the 1, turn the 1 upside down from a 10. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? 9 plus 1 is 10, the middle is 5. Alpha omega, that is 1 and 5. So therefore you can exchange your values between those numbers and letters. Because if they can meet somewhere, they had to come from somewhere. It had to be created from something and continuously be created before 1 and 9 will even touch. But there was a time at one point where 1 was meant to go out and touch the 9. And that was the spirit of birth within us, the planet of Pluto. One of the most important planets here in this entire world. If Pluto didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. Pluto is our birth planet. I don't know what anybody else says, but deep within my own heart, I feel it, I see it, I know it, I know the numbers. The game I play, okay, this is the way it works out. It may not be true at all in the entire world. Maybe man did go to the moon. Maybe the Titanic was real. Maybe Michael Jackson wasn't murdered. Maybe Whitney Houston was murdered. You see all these things to me, whatever I told you, they're all wrong. I believe every one of them was murdered, and I think the Titanic was a big hoax. I think it's coming up on the 12th, I'm not sure, but the Titanic will be 100 years in 212. We are 45 years, are we 45 years now since the war in, was it Jerusalem or Israel? That lasted not very long. Find out what that date is, whether it's 40 or 45 or 42. It all means something to me, because now once you get into the 40s, like they say, 40s is a completely different part of life. At 41, it absolutely is. The minute you hit 41, okay, you are on the last level, bringing yourself up to 9, which means the 4 angles of birth, and in which also means the 4 angles, 1 angle, 2 angles, 3 angles, 4 angles, or 4 corners of birth. And the only time that starts is on the 4 card, and we are in the 4th month. And we today we are a reflection of August 16th, 8/12/16. Why? Because the reverse of the 8th day and the reverse of the 4, right, would be August 4th. That would be my grandmother's birthday. But if you double it up, okay, it becomes August 16th. It remains in the same month. It's just a doubled up number, 8 and 16. The 8 heavens, these 4 corners down at the bottom, and these 4 corners at the top is 8 of 1. But there's 1 cigarette pack here and 1 cigarette pack here. So it's the 4 corners on this one, the 4 corners on this one up here, which makes the 16. The one spirit is right here in the center, that when you're here, you get that air of life you live. The 8th month of the heavens, the 1/6 is the spirit. So that's what this day represents. I just found out yesterday that it represents a bunch of things. July 4th and April 7th, my sister's birthday, reflect each other. The 6th of April was my parents' anniversary, but it's not true because it's June 4th. It's a complete opposite of that day. And there's many things that come on into my family this way. And my sister is the firstborn of the year. Although she's the youngest, she's still born first. My next sister was born second. Then my brother was born, and then I was born. And in the reversal, and the truth of the matter is, my brother was born, then I was born, then my older sister was born, and my other sister was born. Almost the complete opposite of the actual truth, only to say because she was born in April and my other sister in May, and continuously until we get to the last part of the month. Now you may be asking yourself, well, why did this guy come on here today to tell us a story about his life? We're not interested. Well, what can be true of your non-interest in this is actually you came up, you bought a ticket for $9. You went to the movie, they're fighting, everybody's fighting, knocking the head, somebody gets killed. 3 minutes later, I mean, you're all excited. You're excited, you're watching the action. 3 minutes later, they're having sex in bed. I didn't go to movies to watch that. I don't want to see them have sex in bed. I know everybody can have sex in bed. You know what I'm saying? This whole world is based on having sex in bed, and I didn't go to watch it the same way. I didn't come to watch MrTacpans explain himself about things because they keep tying on, and doesn't he know we understand by now? But at the same time, I must let you, okay, understand that I too know myself and see most of what I am doing within my actions. And it's very important that the audience, if they partake in any way, have to know that the author is feeling them as well as telling them the story. He is taking within what they are taking in within their minds. Although most of you do not send me any messages, if I get one message, I will stretch that out to arm's length to see what one says, is to just spread my wings and understand what I was missing. Anyways, What I'm going to get to next is my brother-in-law asked me last night, and usually it can take me a week, a month, a year, 2 years to figure out some of this stuff because it's continuously going on. And until I go further on, you know, when you put a puzzle together that's all the same shapes, unless you put 6 or 7 shapes together, that piece will always be in the right place. So unless I take my hypothesis with me, okay, into the future, I must see whether a truth, a coincidence, whether a pattern can go backwards to actually say, okay, yeah, this has reason to be this way. So what it was about September and October, in which October is the 10th month and September is the 9th month. Together they're 19. 19 is the spirit. Not only that, October is 10 to add on to it, which is the one red spirit and the green spirit of life, because in roulette the zeros are green, so we have to look at it the same way. There's not too many games. I mean, how many games? I mean, even the game of sorry is telling us a reason or a situation. Anyways, can I light this up? Is this my second one already? How many minutes has this been? 21? We can talk for days. We can talk forever. We can talk forever and ever. But we got to go out to our garden and you know what I'm saying? We don't need money. We don't need that much money. We have to know what our mind needs, set our mind up to a pattern based on how much money we have, and then live that way. Now, because you don't have all the money to liberate your mind to go elsewhere, because you're always struggling for that money, imagine if you knew you would constantly always have that money, you would be able to let your mind open, and you would be able to travel so much further if you took away one of the worries of the world. And that's why God can never tell us and help us directly in creation. He says, because you have to learn all the paths and the reasons for the roads to be there. And one of the reasons it says on one road, cul-de-sac. You know what that is? You know what cul-de-sac is? It's French for dead ends. But cul, C-U-L, backwards, says luck. So why would it say luck? Is it because this earth is a dead end? And good luck while you're here, before you passeth of the way and go back up to the heaven of the lords of the God, lords of the rings. Anyways, what I was working on, which I'm going to do, is now that I mentioned to you in September, and I don't want to do more than 22 minutes, I'll do another video, is I now unscrambled all the months. 7 and 8 equals 15, which I started to tell you the scepter, September, and October. But there's something else I'm going to finish in that. At the same time, I redesigned the keys on the keyboard up here. Okay, and you want to know what's funny is the last letter. Okay, this is the row of man's creation. Look at the last letter, P-O-I-L. It means hair on a dog leg. But at the same time, if you put the E there, E and M, which is the passage and the love, okay, because of what those two letters create, it says emploi, it means a job. At the same time, with the same letters, forget about the P. The P goes at the beginning saying the islands of man. And then L-O-I means the law of the spirit of man. It tells you right here, liberty. Right on the corner here, it's talking about liberty. I'm going to explain this. I didn't see this before. I'm telling you, I learn with you. When I know I have an audience, when I know there's people out there, the more I know there's people out there, the more I can relax on certain things in expression, because if we work together, it'll spread. I need the minds of other. You see, the way I would work is for every one of me, we need 100 people or 1,000 people. So we can bring out and spread. I may have a way of seeing within, but it's not without all of us that our vision cannot be seen amongst the whole world. Let me light up this cigarette. Is this the same cigarette as 2 minutes ago? Smoke too much. So, like I said, I'm right here today. This is like a book. I just don't know how to write. I really don't know much about making videos either. But I know if it's out there, one day I can go back to it and take pieces and parts and make a book and sell it and make millions of dollars. But right now, I'm not too interested in doing more than getting the word out, showing that the numbers and letters and shapes and colors really do tell a story in creation of man, really do tell a story on what's going on in the skies. They really do tell a story of what's going on in this world. Yes, it really shows up, and there are stories that have been shown from today in towards the past based by numbers. So therefore, based by numbers, there's something to go on into the future. We just have to know how to put the numbers together. Another thing that I was working on, no, I'm going to leave this for after. We're going to have to leave this for after. So let me mark this down. 116. The initials. There's a lot of things to do. Don't forget the initial, like I started to tell you. Oh, I can't do that. We're going to have to stop this. So out here, it's like a train. You come on, you listen to what MrTacpans has to say. Sometimes it's exactly on a road that keeps building it up with explanation, and sometimes it's a little shitty like this, where I'm just trying to let you in to know which road and how I'm traveling in the directions that I choose. In order for the sun to come up and end in the west, the world has to turn this way, and if it's not turning that way, then I have another thing to work on. What else is there? Just trying to figure out. And the two things I forgot to tell you, the angle of the angel resident. I'm going to do this. First thing I do on the next cassette is the angle of the angel resident. And I'm going to mark. I wrote the words L and R, left and right. Please watch the next tape. I'll try and make it as short as I can. And if you like what I'm going to tell you with this, it's a little funny, then just press like. We got to like me. My mind has to travel. It has to think it knows everything. It has to believe it can find a way to know something about everything. And just mentioning something about everything is automatically going to tell you my mind is open to look left and right, and there's going to be something there. I will find it, but we will try in the meantime to find the center of what liberty is between two sides, meaning mostly is that, you see, my hands on the other side, this hand's on this side, this hand's on this side, they're crossed over. The liberty of the hands. What does that mean? I can't tell you. I can't figure it out. I just know it means something. Liberty, the liberty. Okay, I guess we're going to just like stop it right here. Ohio, Raphael 7286.